Spending that father son quality time is so important, especially for people in the Black community, because a lot of them never had a father that was there. The mother had to raise the child alone. Children felt abandoned, and this is a lot of the reason why the Black community fails to be supportive towards other people. When they become rich, they become selfish because someone was selfish with them, and they failed to see that selfishness is not what made them rich. It's people supporting them. Yes, they put in a lot of hard work and effort, but there's a lot of people that put in hard work and effort and still don't get picked, right? Even if they're greater talents than you are, they end up not getting picked just because they don't have the right connections, or you know what I mean? So always understand that when people choose you, and this goes for like a lot of the celebrities today, Beyonce, Rihanna, when people choose you to be a certain person, to be a certain way, it is an opportunity. But there's so many people that need your support. Yes, it's a great job. It's great to be a team player, a sport, to be in sports. And a lot of times you want that big deal, that money, because that money is going to help you help others, right? But before even getting into that sport, make sure you find the right organization that you know, the right team that you know is going to do what they can or what they're supposed to do with your money, versus abandoning you, versus abandoning your organization. You never want to get rich and wealthy and just completely use the money only for yourself, right? Because I want to remind every person in the Black community that America fought hard for you guys to be here. The white people didn't just sit back and watch you guys toil and moil in the sun. While you were toiling and moiling in the sun, they were at war, toiling and moiling, fighting for the country so you can be able to toil and moil under the sun. When you didn't have the brains to fight in war, they're the ones that had to go fight in war, right? So it wasn't just you guys that were fighting in war. I want you guys to remember the country that fought for you guys to be here. Africa was your platform until America bought you at a price to bring you to this country, right? Yes, there are people that died. This is why I push the Black community and tell them, take care of your children. If you can't, give them up for adoption to the right people that are willing to take great care of them. And these are the countries and these are the organizations that need your support the most, and they seem to fail. But a lot of people like Beyonce and Rihanna and the very wealthy billionaires have made it completely, have gotten so lost in themselves that they've forgotten the country that is making it possible for them to obtain that wealth. We want you to have the heart of America, the heart that made it possible, the people that think about them and don't stop thinking about them, because we don't want those things to happen to them again. We want them to come home to a beautiful place, right? To a place where people are mentally stable enough to understand their struggle, to understand their situation, to have shelters, to have washers and dryers, gyms. We don't want those shelters to look like an abandoned house, abandoned building. If your house looks that good, those shelters need to look this good, right? As good as an apartment, because guess what? You are housing people. In order to properly house people, the organizations, the country will not allow your organization to stand if it's not feeding people proper food and it's not taking care of the building well, right? So it's very important, but your donations are what's going to make it happen. But not just your donations, but your word, you spreading and using your platform to say, hey guys, these people really need you. We want you guys to go apply, but make it fun for people to want to work there, right? By training people and reminding them, hey, it's okay to bring your problems to talk, caseworkers, case managers need therapy, right? And they shouldn't be charged all this therapy and stuff like that. It should come with the job, right? And that's going to cost money, and having the therapy on board, right? The important thing is that people are housed. Everyone deserves a chance to be housed if they're safe, if they're not criminals, right? If they're criminals, then they can't be trusted to even live alone with anybody, right? So making sure that people are safe and protected. And I know that for a fact because I've been homeless, and I know how unsafe and how unfair it feels to be on the street without proper nutrition. What you donate also means a lot. Like, a lot of people like to donate the bad and the leftovers. And there are things that, when I've had people donate rotten food to me, because they're like, oh, she's hungry. Do you think I ate that rotten food? No, I didn't eat that rotten food. I put it away. I was like, no, this is not gonna do me any justice. I'm not going to eat well I'm not going to live well if I don't eat well, right? Just because I'm homeless doesn't mean I'm just going to accept whatever is being offered to me, right? So I think it's absolutely important for people to understand that. And in the Black community, I don't want you guys to deny and neglect the people in the white community that are being a hand, right? They're coming to be a hand. We're blessed that they're not white supremacists. And don't forget that these people get attacked and abused by other white people for supporting the Black community, and by other Black people just because of the past. So this is not what being a Black person is about. Don't embarrass yourself, and don't embarrass me, right? By abusing the big people. Don't you see that they're bright? Don't you see? Do you think that they didn't fight for this country, that they left it all up to you, brainless ones that can only build a house? Yeah, it takes skill to build a house. It takes skills. But imagine how long it took just to train you guys to do the work, right? Without knowing English. A lot of people that came from African countries did not know English. They had to learn. Nobody can build not speaking English to a English speaker. They had to teach them something, right? So it was a burden raising you guys. And of course they're gonna be like, oh, let's get out of here. We want to give up because once we teach them to do something, they don't want to help. I mean, they don't see it. They still don't see it because they're hurt. It hurts. When they don't see it, they hurt because they're not white. They've never been in your skin. So they don't know what your struggle is. Only somebody that's a light-skinned person that's been in the sun, sunburned, and that shit hurts. This is where my compassion begins, is the fact that I've had to get past the sunburn to actually have my melanin, my dark skin, right? Which gives me the ability to be in the sun for a long time without being burned. Yeah, it gets hot, but I don't get that burn. So I want you guys to understand that when I had that burn on my chest, I'm pretty sure when I was a baby and I had jaundice, I would go inside with burns all over my body, right? But that burn alone made it so hard. So as a Black person, I want you to know that you are important. You are important. And me telling Black people you're not important, you're ugly, you're a piece of shit, stay in your struggle, this and that, doesn't make me a good leader at all. Yes, of course, we all get angry. Yes, of course, we all say things we don't mean. But it's rising from our past, not allowing that past, those past words that we spoke in the midst of our anger to define us, right? But just being a part of the solution, not the problem. Like, this man is part of the solution, not the problem. He's not complaining about a Black person's hair, confused about the Black person's skin. He's like, no, I understand it. I want to be a part of the solution, not the problem, right? I want to help because at the end of the day, these are real human beings, real people. That, yes, were bought at a price for them to be here. I want you guys to understand that, right? They're real human beings. And the more you waste your money splurging on the most expensive clothes, there are people that can use your help. I know it's a lot, but I feel like my life feels better if I see shelter systems built well. I feel better when I know that people are safe. Of course, when you're not a Leo or a queen of the world, when you're not that kind of person, you don't feel that passion. But as a Leo, I feel like that's where my mind and my heart is. I do have a good heart and I care because I'm a mother. And when you're a father, these are your kids, right? It hits deeper when you put this baby in your stomach. You get what I mean? You're bonding with that child for 9 months. So leaving it all up to the mother is not a great idea, right? These are your kids. Abandoning your kids is like abandoning yourself, right? And then if you can help, if you can be a part of the solution, be a part of the solution. If you can't because you struggle with your mental health, give them up for adoption to the right people that are willing to adopt them, that care about them, right? There is a lot to think about, but sometimes you do have to take a chance, and there's a lot of investigation that always needs to be done. When I gave my daughter up for adoption, she was given to a woman that was working with the government. You know, she wasn't just some woman I found off the streets and said, adopt my child. No, she was registered and being watched by the government. So she had to be careful, regardless on how she was taking care of other people's kids. My daughter was not her first child. Great job. Thank you for taking care of these women's kids and your kids and loving them. Thank you. This means a lot to me.